Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Normal Guy of the North here. Today we're going to execute a structured, data-backed review of one of the most persistent topics in the World of Warships community, the biggest problems players consistently identify with the game. Instead of vague commentary or emotional reactions, we're going to take a disciplined, operational look at the 5 largest friction points shaping community sentiment today. This is not about doom and gloom. This is about clarity, accountability, and equipping both new and veteran players with a sharper understanding of the systemic issues driving frustration across the player base. As always, my commitment is to help you navigate this ecosystem with confidence and perspective, and if Wargaming ever decides to address these topics directly, these are the areas that will yield the highest ROI in player trust and long-term engagement. We're counting down from number 5 to number 1, and each step in this ladder represents a foundational challenge the community has identified over multiple years. These are not isolated complaints. These are structural patterns consistently validated through gameplay experience, CC commentary, Reddit and DevStrike trend analysis, and general community consensus. So let's begin our countdown with problem number 5, matchmaking quality and team disparity. At number 5, we have a topic that shapes the outcome of almost every game you play before a single shell is fired: matchmaking. The criticism here is not centered on queue times, but on quality assurance. Players frequently highlight extreme variance in team composition, skill mismatches, where one team is stacked with veterans and the other is built almost entirely from inexperienced players. The result is predictable: early collapses, runaway snowballs, and matches that feel uncompetitive within the first 4 minutes. Beyond player skill variance, composition imbalance is one of the most consistent complaints. Too many radar cruisers, too many battleships, too many submarines, or a total absence of destroyers. These structural mismatches dictate the entire strategic environment and reduce individual agency. Players want a matchmaking system that actively protects competitive integrity by smoothing out extremes, ensuring each match begins on a stable foundation. Now let's move into problem number 4, economic compression and resource decline, a topic that has reshaped how players approach progression and strategic planning. Over the past several years, major changes to the economy have created a consistent perception across the community. Rewards feel smaller, the systems feel more complicated, and the sense of long-term progression feels less achievable without financial investment or extended daily playtime. The transition away from the old camouflage and flag system fundamentally altered how players earn XP, credits, and bonuses. While the new system is more visual and streamlined, the underlying returns feel reduced. Resource inflation also contributes to discontent. Steel, coal, and Research Bureau points each represent long-term currencies that should enable meaningful progression. But as more syncs are introduced and as new premium ships enter the ecosystem, players feel these currencies are becoming harder to earn yet faster to spend. Combined with multiple seasonal event tokens, layered reward tracks, and premium passes, the economy has become a maze rather than a straight line. The community's ask is simple: make rewards meaningful, make progression predictable, and make the economy transparent enough that long-term planning feels practical rather than overwhelming. Continuing the countdown, we now arrive at problem #3, carrier influence and limited counterplay, a topic that has remained in the upper tier of community frustration ever since the carrier rework. The friction is not about the existence of carriers, it's about interaction equity. Carriers project influence across the entire map, applying pressure on destroyers, cruisers, and battleships regardless of distance. For destroyers in particular, carriers change the fundamental rules of engagement. A destroyer depends on concealment, map control, and smart risk management. When a carrier decides to apply pressure, that operational identity is compromised. A single squadron flyover can eliminate a destroyer's ability to contest caps, perform spotting, or reposition safely. Players also highlight the inconsistency of AA mechanics. After multiple redesigns, AA performance often feels either binary or unreliable, too weak in some cases, and excessively punishing in others. The end result is a class with both high impact and limited counterplay, creating a perception of imbalance even when statistical data shows otherwise. The community sentiment is clear. Carriers need better counter-interaction frameworks so surface ships feel empowered to respond, not helplessly exposed. That takes us to problem number 2. Submarine implementation and cross-class interaction challenges, arguably one of the most polarizing topics in the game today. Submarines were introduced to expand tactical depth, but the execution continues to divide the player base. The biggest issue is interaction predictability. Homing torpedoes, pings, depth mechanics, and limited detection all form a rule set that is not intuitive to new or experienced players. Battleships often feel they have no agency. Cruisers without depth charges feel structurally disadvantaged. Destroyers feel forced into risky anti-sub engagements that compromise their role elsewhere. And then there is the submarine experience itself. Sub-captains consistently describe the class as extremely punishing. A single mistake at periscope depth can result in immediate elimination. Misreading a destroyer's path, mismanaging battery, or mistiming a dive can end a match instantly. Submarines require high tactical awareness, yet offer limited forgiveness. This creates a rare situation where both sides feel underserved. Surface ships feel exposed and frustrated. Submarine players feel restricted and overly vulnerable. The community wants a clearer, more intuitive rulebook, one where submarines contribute meaningfully to gameplay without creating confusion, frustration, or disproportionate punishment. Now we've arrived at problem number 1, monetization creep and event pressure, the most widely discussed issue across the entire World of Warships ecosystem. This is not about individual prices or the cost of premium ships. It's about the directional shift in how progression, rewards, and engagement are structured. Players consistently describe feeling pressured by layers of monetization. Early access gambling loops, event-based currencies, multi-stage premium passes, and container-driven reward systems. Even longtime supporters of the game feel these systems have become too dominant in the design philosophy. Seasonal events, once centered around clear reward paths, now they often rely on time gating and paid accelerators. Containers represent a growing share of the game's value delivery. Early access lines push players toward opening dozens of crates for a statistical chance at ships. And while many players still willingly invest in the game, the sentiment has shifted from enthusiasm to obligation. The perception is that monetization is no longer a supporting pillar, it's the engine driving content decisions. This erodes trust, and trust is the most important currency a live service game can hold. When players feel pressured rather than rewarded, engagement becomes transactional. The community overwhelmingly agrees. Monetization balance needs a strategic recalibration that makes generosity, transparency, and predictability a central part of the experience again. And that brings us to the close of our analysis. These 5 issues, matchmaking quality, economic compression, carrier interaction, submarine design, and monetization creep, represent the most influential challenges shaping player sentiment today. Addressing even one of them at scale would significantly improve community trust and player satisfaction. Addressing all 5 would fundamentally transform the game for the better. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And please feel free to click on the videos on your screen for more World of Warships content. But as always, take care, stay safe, and I wish you all the best. See you in the next one, and bye for now.